Kevin, to kick the question to you, with Super Bowl 56 upcoming next week, what are some reasons why the Los Angeles Rams will win a Lombardi trophy next week?
But once again, I'm just going to go out here and state the obvious. One man is going to be the make or break for this team, and that's going to be Aaron Donald. With the struggle of the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line and Aaron Donald being the presence that he is, it is going to be difficult to keep Joe Burrow upright. So their pass rush is going to define the success of this team. Matthew Stafford has been playing relatively well this postseason. Odell Beckham has finally gotten into a rhythm. The Rams' run game has been quite consistent between Cam Akers as well as Sony Michel. So when you really look at it, if I'm specifically looking at it from an outside perspective, it's going to just be the Rams defense. We know that offensively, these two teams are very similar. But the very big outlier here is going to be one team's defense is better than the others. One has, like you said, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, obviously Aaron Donald, and a litany of other players that have come out this year and shown that they can produce effectively. They even went out and picked up Eric Weddle out of retirement so they can have some safety depth. So when you really look at it, the Rams defense is solely the reason they need to win the Super Bowl, because if Joe Burrow can't stay upright, there's going to be no points on the board. And if Cincinnati's defense is an inkling off of what it was last week against the Chiefs, Matthew Stafford's going to have himself a game just because Joe's not going to have time to put points on the board. And over time, we all know how that works. Your offensive line is weakened, and then your defense is tired out because they're just consistently on the field. So genuinely, if I had to make an early why they're going to win, the Rams are going to win because Aaron Donald and Von Miller are going to get to the quarterback, and Joe Burrow is going to be on the ground.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting one for me because the Rams were kind of this, I don't want to say underdog team, but I think people were a little bit disappointed that they finished as the 4th seed in the NFC. And yet, despite that, they were able to get some solid wins throughout their playoff run and end up in the situation where they're playing a home game in SoFi Stadium. So pretty much I have it listed to 2 reasons why. The first one being is Matt Stafford needs to play phenomenal. And that goes without saying because the bar was set extremely high for the Rams once Matt Stafford was traded from the Lions to the Rams. So once that trade was made, pretty much this team was looked at as a Super Bowl contending team. And despite all of the season expectations that were placed upon the Rams, they were able to basically meet those expectations, and they're ending up in the situation that I think some people expected earlier on in the season. And when I've seen Matt Stafford go on this playoff run that he's currently been on, he's been phenomenal. He was great against the Cardinals in the NFC wildcard game. He had an amazing game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road in the divisional round. And even though that he got off to a slow start in that championship game against the 49ers, he was able to lead that team back from a 17-7 fourth quarter deficit. And they were able to get 13 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to get them that win to host a Super Bowl. So Matt can't turn the ball over. I expect that Matt Stafford is really going to focus on getting Cooper Kupp his targets. I wouldn't be surprised if Odell gets in the mix as well. And as long as Matt doesn't turn the ball over, I think they have a great shot to put some points up on the board against that Cincinnati Bengals defense. Now, the second reason is what Kevin mentioned, and that is the pass rush. Because the one thing that's been consistent for the most part in this playoff run is that Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, these boys have been getting after it with the pass rush. It really manifested itself in the first 2 games in the playoffs, specifically against the Cardinals and the Bucks. Because when you look at that, like Bucks games, for example, they were able to get relentless pressure against Tom, and it made Tom uncomfortable because Tampa only scored 3 points in that first half. And that's a huge credit to the defense. Granted, they did give up 24 points in the second half, but even despite that, they were able to get constant pressure against Brady. So it was not an easy battle for Brady to get those 24 points in the second half for the Buccaneers. And even though that I wouldn't say that their pass rush really got home against the 49ers, in the one drive where the 49ers need either a field goal to tie it or a touchdown to win it, guess who shows up? Aaron Donald gets pressure on Jimmy G. Jimmy G throws the ball away. It's an interception, and the Rams are going to the Super Bowl. So when I look at the Rams here, they're going to need some consistent pass rushes from both Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and you could also throw in Leonard Floyd as well. Now, I'm not going to say like each guy's going to get like 2.5 sacks, but if they're able to get maybe 2.5 sacks from those top pass rushers, I think it's definitely going to make life more difficult for the Bengals. And we've seen the Bengals have a pretty shaky offensive line where they gave up 9 sacks against the Tennessee Titans in the divisional round. So you tie those factors together. I think those are some reasons why the Rams will host the Lombardi Trophy when all is said and done after Super Bowl 56 is played. But, the Rams are a good team. They're here for a reason. If they're able to do basically what we outlined, I think they have a very good shot to win Super Bowl 56, and that's just how I see it.